taken up by every single person who wants this ecosystem to succeed. At RiseVest, we started something we called Rise Academy. And we basically said, hey, we're going to replicate what Andela did, because we're now at the point where, first of all, we need to start thinking beyond just hiring people and start thinking in terms of building a pipeline. But secondly, we also know that as the ecosystem grows, the demand for talent will grow with it. So last year we started small because we're still a startup. We're 5 years old. So we've gotten about 30, 40 people, and we're giving them about 50 to 100K every month as a stipend. And all we tell them is, face the next 1 year, learn with our engineers, we pair them with our engineers, learn to build at the best level possible. At the end of the program, if you want to work for RiseVest, come in and join the team. But if you decide you don't want to work for RiseVest, 100% you can go away. We don't have any handcuffs. We don't have any requirements for you to stay with us for some number of years. There's no string attached. It's talent development, and our goal is to do more. So one of the things, I was speaking to my brother Ogochukwu here, one of the things that we're going to do as Rise is to set up a campus here in Enugu, ideally somewhere in Nsukka or in the city, and expand our program so that young people in Enugu will know that they are just as good, if not better, than young people in any other part of the world. The fourth thing I think founders need is funding. It's easy to have great ideas, but the funding must match. Every developed ecosystem in the world has a model for funding. I'll tell you guys a funny story. So my first company is called Bitcoins. I started with a couple friends of mine. We started it in September of 2017, and within a few months, by March of 2018, we got into Y Combinator, and we raised about 1.7 million at a $10 million valuation. And even for me, that was astonishing, because I'm like, I know when we started, it was just yesterday. But people gave real money to a bunch of young guys to go and build something they believed in, and told us that's your net worth now. So after 2 years, the idea for Rise had been sitting with me. Initially, we thought we were going to build it from within Bitcoins. But when we realized because of the regulations and all, we had to build it as a standalone company. I said, you know what? I grew up in the East. I want to come back and raise money from people here who I know. There's people who are successful. But nobody, I came back, I pitched to a bunch of people. None of them will invest. And a lot of them, when I asked why, they were like, computer. That was their response. Like, what are you? You want to raise 100,000 for something that is online? And they were just like, nah, if we can't see it, if it's not tangible, if we can't touch it, we're not investing in it. All that English you are speaking is some foreign stuff, right? But I don't blame them, because the conversations up until then, I mean, Paystack, who everyone celebrates today as part of the success stories of the Nigerian tech ecosystem, also at a point was begging for money at a $5 million valuation, and nobody would invest because people didn't understand what that world meant. But thanks to accelerators like YC, like Techstars, investors and VCs, both on the local end, that are concentrated in the Lagos and who understood the value, many people eventually invested in those companies, and it paid off massively today. I mean, not to be overly modest, but I think given the last 5 years, Rise has created an incredible amount of value. So if we're saying we want to support young people, especially now that the culture has changed, young people are luckier, there's more understanding of what it looks like, please fund people with the good ideas. Give them the opportunity to build out those ideas. It comes with a risk. Not all of them will work. Not everybody that raises will be the best person to invest in. But please, when you find people that are doing something good, support them, give them ideas, and then let them figure it out. Which brings me to the last point that I'll make. Freedom and not control. So when it comes to building new things, everyone knows that young people understand the future far more than old people do. And what I find is sometimes older people want to invest in young people, but then they want to set the rules, they want to control the levers, they want to have oversight. And what you're doing is that you're stifling the ability of young people to express themselves. Even I, at this point, I don't consider myself even fully in touch with what's new. Because it's been a few years, I have a picture of the world that I'm building with. But the truth of the matter is that it's very, very difficult to convince people to support young people with resources, with accelerators, with space, and whatever. But then don't demand control. Don't try to tell them what to do. They are smarter than you. Believe it or not, they are smarter than you are. Yesterday, Professor Naji was speaking about the guys at Terra Haptics, who are friends of mine, and they are 21 and 22, and they are building drones, and you can't tell them anything. Just give them whatever support you can give them, and then let them go. Let them figure it out. Let them build it. So that's one of the things I was saying. And then lastly, I say this to founders. You have to be motivated by something more than just money. I think that's something that people might not tell you enough. But money at a certain point is very motivating, especially when you're starting. But once you get to a certain level, you need more than money. You need to have a vision. You need to have something you believe in. You need to have something that you're thinking about that is bigger than you. A certain young man, Inyolu Aboyeji, who built a company called Flutterwave. I don't know, you guys might have heard of it. There was $3 whole billion. He told me something. He said, when you're young, you're thinking, how can I be great? How can I do something great? That the secret to greatness is simple. Look for opportunities to build greatness in others. Stop thinking about yourself. Look for opportunities to build greatness in others. Greatness will naturally follow you. So if you're a founder in this room and you're thinking, what can I do to make a dent in the universe? Look around you and say, who can I help become great? In whatever capacity you can. Start from there and don't stop. Finally, I'll give you guys something that we were given at Y Combinator. That is, when you want to build successfully, don't overthink it. Focus on building what people want. You build what people want, you put your heart into it, and you're going to build something amazing that will surprise even you. That's what we're doing at RiseVest. Our journey was to start people with long-term wealth creation, because we noticed that a lot of people in Nigeria, yes, they were working hard, they were putting money away, but they were not investing in the best things. Meanwhile, we had access to a whole world of investments, and we realized all we need to do is to find a way to make it possible for someone in Nigeria to access the rest of the world and actually build long-term wealth, whether in dollars or in naira. And so when we started RiseVest, we started small. We started with less than 2,000 people. Thankfully, today we have more than 600,000 users. We have products in Nigeria, in Kenya, in the US. We're licensed in multiple countries. And we can tell you there's asset base. There is a platform for people to raise money. There's HISA, which is a platform for people to trade US stocks and all the rest. And we're doing incredible things. But what gives me the most pleasure is that when we look at our numbers, we can see thousands of people who we've actively changed their financial lives. If you put in ₦1 million in RiseVest in 2020, as of today, it will be 10 million naira, because your money is in USD, it's protected from devaluation, it's earning more than inflation, and we're doing real things. And so for me, the real goal for Rise is how many people can retire comfortably because Rise exists. That's what drives me, not the money, but the success and the impact we have. And I want to tell you to do the same for your people. Build something people want, and then don't stop. Thank you very much, Enugu, for having me. Thanks.
Please, you can do more than that. Help those people have good ideas. I was able to hear him clearly. Please, I want to appreciate all the secondary school students who are here with us. Transecool girls, Queen's Model, whatever that plenty. Can you put your hands together for them, please? And 4 schools are constantly being mentioned: IMT, ESUTS, UNEX/UNN, Peaceland College of Education, Peaceland University, Godfrey Okoye, Enugu State College of Education, Technical, Caritas University, Coal City University, Osisatec University, and Polytechnic. I welcome you all. Put your hands together for yourselves. After the next speaker, we'll have a panel session. That is very key to what we are going to do today. But before I call on the next speaker, let me specially acknowledge the presence of the founder of Zend Finance and the builder of Hamas Game, Mr. Ugochukwu Arono. Welcome, my man. Welcome. Welcome. Ladies and gentlemen, let me also recognize a Reverend Sister in our midst, Reverend Sister Vera Ane from Christ the King. She brings you greetings from the Vatican City. But I'm sure she doesn't know the next Pope. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, let me also recognize, especially Dr. Mrs. Ebele Georgina Honora, State Project Coordinator, Adolescent Girls Initiative for Learning and Empowerment, in acronym AGILE. Once again, Chief Gaius Chibweze, CEO, Eastside Ventures, the Bitcoin chief. Honorable Prince Emmanuel Emeka Naje, please appreciate him. And the CEO of Semipat Bottled Water, Pure Water, and Semipat Hotels, High Chief Simon Anyobi. You need to appreciate him. He's a good man. He pays school fees to more than 50 persons. So he deserves to be celebrated. ICT consultant and founder, GEM Initiative for Tennessee, Lady Mrs. Chiamaka Udo Onwuka. The Honorable Commissioner directed, I especially recognize the principal of the secondary school he attended, his own principal, Mburubu Community Secondary School, Mrs. Chibuko Nkechi. If she's here, please can she stand? Welcome, madam. The CEO, Atwenyi Coding Academy, UNEC, Mr. Joe Atwenyi. Can you stand up for the UNEC people to see you? Thank you. I have an author of several books, Chief Ken Okoroka. Welcome. The Enugu State Chairman of National Youth Council of Nigeria, NYSCN, Ebuka Batro Miyoko. Are you here? Okay, already out. Ladies and gentlemen, at this point in time, let me welcome on stage a great man who is doing well, both in tech and in tech ecosystem. Join me to welcome the general partner of Beta Ventures, one of the companies listed in the Nigerian Stock Exchange, to be doing well, Mr. Ike Eze. If you know what men suffer to make money legally, when you see rich men, you appreciate them.
Good afternoon, all. We might give this a minute because I'm supposed to have slides on here that they need to queue up. It would make our discussion so much better. Glad to be in Enugu. By the way, I hope you don't mind that I piece. I'm not a lion, but I'm going back and forth. So I think this discussion is really around money and how it affects and how it interacts with startups. Still waiting for my slides, people. So our goal is to talk about money and how it interacts with folks. So before we start, I'll tell you a little bit about me. That way it gives you a sense. I was born here in Enugu State in Ogu, LGA. Anybody from Ogu? Where are you? Ndi Ogu. Okay, I'm from Umbo in Ogu. So I grew up in different places. I grew up around the world. My father was a diplomat, but he believed it was very important to come back to Nigeria for high school. So I went to Federal Government College, Enugu. NEFGCE, folks. So I'm being represented well. So we did that, and then I was supposed to go to UNN and study mechanical engineering, but ultimately went to the US. And I think that's where the journey starts, that parallels some of the journeys that you are all on or about to embark on. So I finished my degree in mechanical engineering and then ultimately decided to work for a couple of years. After working for a couple of years, I said, this is not for me. Let me do my first startup. So my first startup was around fintech. It was a credit service. I started that company when I was 23, just out of school. It was in San Francisco, so it was in the Silicon Valley. We venture financed it, we built it up, and we ultimately sold that company to the largest credit provider in the US. So it goes to show you that it's not the age, it is the impetus, it's the ambition, it's the willingness, it's the drive to be able to go ahead and build something that has value, that people want, and being able to find people that can help you along the way to do that. After that first startup, I did a little bit of consulting at BCG in New York, went to business school, and then I decided to invest in a company and became a co-founder. It was a gaming company, so I did it again. We built it, venture financed it. I was an angel investor, and then we sold that company. Since we did it twice, we liked it, so we decided to do it yet again. We built a third company, FinTech, Silicon Valley, built and sold. And then I came back to Nigeria about 10 years ago with a private equity firm. Next slide. So I think for us, next slide. It's to talk a little bit about venture capital and what we do in venture capital. I am a general partner with my co-founder in Beta Ventures. And what Beta Ventures does is that we invest in tech companies. We've been able to localize our investments after a couple of rounds into 4 sectors. The first sector that we invest in is AI and platforms. The second sector is fintech and logistics. The third sector is clean tech. And then the fourth sector we have is just pure tech. People that are just solving problems, technology platform, broad. So that's what we do on the tech side. Some of the companies we've invested in that we have led the rounds include things like, for the fintech folks in the house, there's like Smile ID. We were the first institutional investor in that. That has grown to be a significant company. Be Free, there you go. Some of the companies we're invested in. What we do is we like to play the role of lead investor. If you're looking for money, you should not look just for money. You should look for money plus. The thing is, many of you here, you're in your 20s, early 30s. Running a company is something that people usually do in their 40s and 50s. You have now been given money and you're told to run a company. Your competency might be engineering, it might be sales, it might be marketing, but you've been asked to run the full mass and breadth of a company at, let's say, 25. It means that there are a lot of things you don't know, and there are a lot of things you will have to learn. So look for the enablers that can help you on that path, and don't just look for money. Next slide, please. You have to stay with me on these slides, or else this will be 1 hour long. Next slide, please. So what I want to do is I want to tell you a story. Let's go back a few slides. Just go to the slide that has one name. So I'd like to tell you the story of an angel, right? And there are some terms you might hear. You might hear angel, you might hear VC. So angels are people that get you going. Many of you in this room do not believe that you're investors, but you can be. Because the angels write those initial checks that allow the idea to move to the next stage. And if you look at an angel that allows that, it allows that entrepreneur to go from step one idea to maybe building a product. Now they can show something to someone, so they can now raise more money. And then that stage leads to the next, which means you're now looking for even more money because scale counts. So we'll go through the story of Andy Bechtolsheim. Many of you probably don't know him, not relevant, but you will know what he does. So Andy was a founder of a company, and it was a microprocessor company called Sun. So Sun built these machines that allowed powerful supercomputer-like capability on your platform. Next slide. Now, Sun, next 2 slides, let's go. So the Sun was invested in by a fellow by the name of John Doerr. There is a point that AK mentioned, which is a lot of people might not understand what you do, which makes it very difficult for them to give you money. So you're looking for people that understand and believe in the sectors that you're in and what you do. Believe you me, Sun had a very hard time raising money, but they were able to raise money from John Doerr at Kleiner Perkins because John had worked at Intel. He had dealt with chips and so on. So Andy made money from Sun. He became a millionaire on Sun. So when 2 students came to him, next slide, idea stage. Next slide, please. He invested in them, and he scratched out a small check of $100,000, first check, to Google. He was the first money, just an idea on research, no company formed yet, and he made that investment. Now, the point I'm making here will arrive there, but this is ecosystem building. Next slide, Google. Andy then introduced John Doerr to Google. These are the enablers now. I've put my own money in. I can persuade someone who has much larger checks. They might not know you, but they know me. And they know that I have flesh in the game. I have skin in the game. So me persuading somebody to come in with a check that's 125 times the size of my check is so much easier. But Google created, Google exited. Andy made more money from Google than he ever made from Sun, the company he founded. At IPO, he made $31 million, which was 310 times what he had made or what he had invested in. And currently, the shares that he holds are well over $1 billion. Andy Bechtolsheim is worth $20 billion. Most of that is coming from Google, from an angel check that he put into a company. Now, the advantage of that is that Google has become successful. But the people at Google, after they have found success, they have decided to go and build other things. And as they have built other things, that first angel check that they are getting is coming from people at Google that know them. And the cycle of angel investing continues. And that is part of building the ecosystem here, is we're starting to see it in Lagos as well. We primarily invest out of Lagos and New York. We're starting to see it in Lagos where the pay stacks of the world, founders, early employees are funding the next set of generative ideas that people don't understand. And they're funding it with their own cash in small increments. And after they have funded it and it has gained traction, they will then introduce us to us at a VC level where we write a bigger check into those companies. But we believe funding is local. Funding is always local. But it is that funding that is local that allows you to build global companies. All right, so just to walk you through what we talk about regarding funding, right? Angel check comes in, let's just use, for example, 1 million naira. The angel's check comes in, next slide, please. Or next 2 slides so they can see. Okay, that's it. No, stay with this, please. So, think about funding rounds. Somebody comes in, angel check 1 million. It doesn't have to be one person, it might be 5, they split it 200K each. Great. But if you now build something, you go to the next round. It might take you 6 months, 12 months to deliver something. You go to the next round, you raise 10 million. Do well there. You go to the next round, you raise 500 million. Don't be scared by the numbers. These are real numbers. These are what we invest in companies. Then you get to Series A, Series B. These are the numbers that we would invest. The problem that we have with flutter waves, pay stacks, and so on, is that all those Series A, Series B are being done by foreign investors. And that's why we need more local investors in. So when the lion's share of money is made, those monies exit the ecosystem, and now you have to try to pull it back. However, if we had local investors that were participating in Series A, B, those funds would stay in the system, and then we can move on. I don't know why you guys are jumping ahead of me. All right. So from the angel stage to the pre-seed stage, that's usually where angels tread. That's what we just call it, where angels tread. And then from the pre-seed or the seed onto others is where professional capital treads. Can you go back a few slides, please? A few slides. Back, not forward, back. Let's go back, please.